We're getting started, so I'm going to give everybody a minute to get to their seats, and we're ready to begin. on, let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome Mayor Simmons, Dr. Lucero, Olympia Della Flora, our Board of Education members and other invited guests, and the entire AITE community, faculty, staff, administration, our families, and of course, last but certainly not least, the class of 2022 to AITE's commencement ceremony. We couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day to celebrate this joyful occasion. And although it's not typical for a group this large to really agree on one thing, I will say that the one thing that we all agree upon today is that we could not be more proud of you. It is extremely noteworthy that you have made it to this important milestone, having overcome so many unexpected challenges. This is a testament to your resilience, which we will talk about a little more in my farewell remarks later. But before we begin the ceremony, I'd like to thank everyone who helped to make this event possible. Whether you helped to secure the funding or were literally working on the ground with me today. I'd like to start with Greg Perry and his hardworking team from KP Events, Dr. Lucero, Olympia Della Flora, the Stamford Police Department, Kevin McCarthy and Andrew Glassman for Facilities, Carlo Buccino and his amazing team of Rippewam custodians, AITE's faculty, staff, and student volunteers who welcomed you today, and our amazing office support specialists, Penny Jantamides and Carolyn Marr, who through their Herculean efforts helped me to maintain my sanity through this entire process. I am so grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you. Now I have to go over a few important procedural items before we can really get to the good part of the program. So here are a few things. If you came in through the main entrance, which is at the top part of the student parking lot behind you, there is I don't know what you call it, but there's basically bathrooms behind you too, in the white hut with the green doors. As a courtesy to all, if you have not done so already, please make sure that you put your cell phone ringers on silent mode until the completion of this ceremony. I also ask that you please do not come up to the stage at any time during the ceremony. I promise you will not miss a thing. We have gone through great lengths to make sure of that. As you can see, there is a gap between the rows of seats where our seniors are seated. This area is for the camera crew who is live streaming this ceremony. The link to access that is on the homepage of our website, aitestanford.org, and this video will also be posted to our YouTube channel so you can watch whenever you like at a later time. We did put up a tent in order to give you the best quality of live stream because as the day went on, it got brighter and brighter, just like the bright young people in front of you. So we apologize if that's obstructs your view a little bit. We tried to raise it as high as we could, and hopefully you have a good view. There's also a photographer who will be taking a picture of the students after they receive their diploma and walk down the stage, and we will send you information on how to purchase this picture if you choose to do so. And of course, once the ceremony is over, you're welcome to stay for a while to take some pictures. We just ask that again, you do not approach the stage, as Greg and his crew will start the arduous task of breaking it down immediately following the ceremony. And, however, in case you did not notice, behind you on the far goalpost right in front is a beautiful balloon arch, and there's also near the entrance where we took tickets, a beautiful what's called a step and repeat. It's like a backdrop where you can take pictures of the graduates once the ceremony has ended. And finally, the building is open tomorrow during school hours. So if any of your children need to pick anything up, they can come in tomorrow, which is officially the last day of school. But the main office is closed for today. At this time, I would like to officially begin the ceremony by inviting AITE's Senior Class President, Dante Ayers, to the podium to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Dante.
Hi all, thank you for being here today. We couldn't have asked for better weather. After our track record of rain with the prom and the picnic, we truly deserve this. I want to take a quick second to not only congratulate the class of 2022, but to thank all of the teachers, the parents, the staff, family, and friends that helped us get to where we are today. Now, if you'll please stand, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Bear with me for one more quick second as I take a selfie to commemorate the class of 2022. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I will now introduce Katie Prescott, who will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Katie. That was beautiful. Okay, and we are moving right along. And now I would like to introduce the Student Council President, but also the senior who your class selected to give this year's graduation remarks, Aishwarya Sivasubramanian.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aishwarya Sivasubramanian. My whole name has 24 letters. It's almost as long as the alphabet. I remember back in kindergarten, way at the start of my Stamford Public Schools education, they gave me the smallest name tag ever to write out my full name. At the time, it was a daunting task. But tonight, I'm faced with something even more challenging, the graduation speech. Good evening, Mayor Simmons, Dr. Lucero, Ms. Rivera, Ms. Colmenares, family, friends, AIT staff, and most importantly, the class of 2022. I'd like to yet again extend a warm welcome to everyone and thank you all for being here today. But before I begin, I would like to take the opportunity to give a special thanks to the people who helped us get here. To the teachers. As much as we complain and groan, not a single person would be on this stage if it wasn't for you. Thank you for teaching us not only algebra and biology, but teaching us how to advocate for ourselves and work to our maximum potential. To the custodians, Thank you for keeping our school as clean as it is, even when you may find certain quote-unquote inspiring messages on the bathroom walls. To the office staff, thank you for never once passing a day of judgment when we slept in and showed up late. You unlock the door after we buzz every time with a smile on your face. To the social workers and nurse, thank you for ensuring both our physical and mental well-being and being supportive when we weren't at our best. To everyone in guidance, thank you for every little bit of advice, every switch of the schedule, and every signing of the transcript. We appreciate you endlessly. To our parents and family, thank you so much for your support. We stand on your shoulders, and we appreciate the boost you give us. I'd like to quickly address my own parents and brother. Without your endless support and faith in me, I would not be anywhere near where I am today, and that is something I don't even know how to begin to thank you for. To our amazing security team, Robbie and Mona, thank you all so much for helping keep us safe and making AIT feel like a home, even when it requires cruising around in the new security patrol car. The relationships we have with you are ones we will not forget. And to Ms. Colmenares and Ms. Rivera, the pillars that hold this wonderful school up, we don't have enough words in the dictionary to show you our thanks. And finally, to the class of 2022, I know you've all heard me talk a lot over these past 4 years, whether that's spiels at lunch handing out milk literature, or normal conversation where I constantly go on what seems to be never-ending tangents. Thank you all for choosing to listen to me speak one last time. It's difficult for me to sandwich our 4 years of memories and reflections into one speech. You know, for a long time, I dreamt of what I would say in a graduation speech. But nowhere in that dream did I ever think I'd be giving this speech after surviving a global pandemic. And I don't just mean physically surviving, but also mentally. The class of 2022 is one of the most resilient there is. Don't believe me? Students, look to both your left and your right and all around. These are your peers. Every single person here, regardless of their GPA or amount of cords around their neck, is a graduate. Just sit back for a second in this moment and think about what we all have endured to get to this point, and be proud of yourself. We all started high school eating at lunch tables. The beginning of the year rush of figuring out who has what lunch wave and who's eating where can always be a crazy whirlwind. But these tables brought us together. One person came from Introduction to Engineering Design, another from English, a third from the Principles of Biomedical Sciences, a fourth from Chinese, a fifth from debate. Lunch tables were full of mixed groups of people and friends. The lunch table was a bit of unity among us all. We all shared common interests, food and conversation and a break from the school day. Sometimes we'd pull chairs to make tables as large as 10 people. I remember there were some B-days freshman year that some would resort to sitting on floors just to be huddled in a big group. It may be something that we'd taken for granted, just being at a table surrounded by others and enjoying the time you have in that very moment. And then COVID happened. Though we had virtual connection, the physical separation was intense. Thankfully, we all got to have an in-person and mostly sophomore freshman year. We got to know each other. The separation that virtual and then hybrid brought us is something that we could beat. We had desks instead of tables. These desks had to be 6 feet apart, and we weren't allowed to talk with our masks down. And all of a sudden, the casual and constant conversation and bonding that occurred at the lunch tables vanished. Our once empty atrium, simply full of flags and chatter, was now full of desks. As we made it through junior year on a hybrid model, we managed to figure it out. We stayed connected through social media and Google Meets. We got closer with those in our own classes. They may not be the people we'd immediately think to befriend, but we were stuck with them. And I will say, as much as I am glad to have made it out of that period, I am grateful for the closer friendships I developed. I'm also glad that now we have the knowledge of what it was like to be apart, because now we truly understand how important it is for us to be together. At AITE, because we take 4 years of sciences, almost everyone here has taken chemistry. With that, you all should know, or I'll remind you, that covalent bonds are the strongest bonds. This happens when two separate atoms share electrons, and this shared electron binds them together. Now, to be totally honest with you, chemistry was not my strongest subject, so I had to use Google to confirm this fact. But there is one thing I am certain of. Graduates, we all share something special, something unique. We are bonded by our shared resilience. We actually made it through. And that's something that I believe is worth acknowledging, wherever you are going off to next year, whether that's college, entering the workforce, taking a gap year, or any other opportunity that awaits you. Remind yourself of what you endured to get there. Take a moment to be proud of yourself and all that you've accomplished. There are very few classes of students that had to achieve what you did, graduating after going through a pandemic. And here we are, still graduating nonetheless. AITE is a living system. Every single person contributes to making the school functioning. Nothing would have turned out the way it did if it wasn't for every single person graduating today. You all had an impact, and no impact is too great or too small. That's something I'd like all of you to keep in mind. Every single day you make choices that leave impacts. I've gotten into an argument with many of my friends about this, and I title it the chair theory. Every single time you fail to push in your chair, you are changing the course of the future. If you don't push in your chair, someone else has to do it for you. Someone is going out of their way to perform a responsibility that isn't theirs. This might lead them to exert just a little more energy than they would have before. Or it may lead them to stepping out of their way and showing up to class just a few seconds later than they originally intended. This can have very small rippling effects. Maybe it won't be massive. Maybe it will. Now, some of you have looked at me like I'm crazy while explaining this theory, as some of you probably are right now. But ultimately, it's to prove that an action as small as pushing in a chair can have a world of impact. It's a reminder to simply be 1% better than you were yesterday. Do what you can for other people, and use this as a reminder that what you've already done is not forgotten. Even if it was just a passing hi in the hallway to someone you don't know very well, or helping someone pick up their stuff when they dropped it, your actions did not go unnoticed. Class of 2022, you are ending high school. One chapter of your life is closing, but another is opening. The pages in your story are blank. They are waiting to be written. You have the chance to make another impact on a different world of people than what you did at AITE. The world is at your fingertips right now. Wherever the next walk of life takes you, whether that's London, Texas, or downtown Stamford, you are being set free. The book is open, and you are being handed the pen. I beg each of you to write a story worth reading. Remember your impacts on others and try to make the biggest and best one. I'm looking at a class full of future doctors, lawyers, engineers, CEOs, but most importantly, I'm looking at a class who cares about making an impact and leaving their mark on the world. And in 10 years from now, when we have our high school reunion, I expect everyone to remember the time we were once at desks and be grateful that even from all our different walks of life, we are still going to be sitting at those round tables, sharing conversations, laughs, and all of our new and wonderful adventures. Congratulations to the class of 2022. We did it.
Thank you, Ashwarya. Now it is my turn to deliver my final remarks to the class of 2022. Just think of this as a longer version of my thought for the day, which has ended every daily announcement. I would like to begin by saying that this has been a remarkable year in terms of the accomplishments of our senior class. We have had many seniors who have received awards for leadership, academic achievement, community service, sports, music, theater, and dance. This school year, which began with some degree of uncertainty, ended on an extremely high note. As only a couple weeks ago, several of you were recipients of awards at our 9th annual Senior Scholarship event. Some of you received scholarships awards at the Dollars for Scholars ceremony, and others received scholarships from various organizations. I would like to take a moment to congratulate these scholarship winners and their families. So please, if I call your name, stand up and remain standing until the last student is called. Masor Alam, Dante Ayers, Brianna Cherry, Kevin Fleischer, Jonathan Yakovacci, Claire and John, Ananya Janakudi, Fanta Konate, Chloe Lefferman, Anna Lichtenberg, Carrington Mattis, Ainoa Merchan, Takia Marenti, Amber Piert, Catherine Prescott, Samantha Samuel, Ashwarya Siva Subramanian, Nathaniel Smith, Tamid Solomon, and Lance Umatayo. Congratulations. You may be seated. This evening, I'm going to talk about AITE's vision of the graduate, which, though apropos for this occasion, may need a little explaining for some of the guests in the audience. The vision of the graduate is a profile of the standards, skills, and dispositions we would like our students to demonstrate proficiently by the time they graduate. This profile was developed collaboratively, by staff and other stakeholders just over 5 years ago in preparation for our recent NIAS decennial accreditation visit, which AITE hosted this past March. 6 areas emerged as the frontrunners on our list of the vision of the graduate. They are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, citizenship, good moral character, and resilience. In our newly revised capstone project, seniors are required to assess themselves using a single-point rubric that defines proficiency for each of these areas, provide evidence to support their self-assessment, and then write a reflection paper that chronicles their experience. So seniors, you've rated yourselves, and I would like to let you know how I would have assessed you based on the evidence that I have observed throughout this year. So, I can tell you that every time I visited classes, I saw the tremendous progress that you have made towards the academic standards as evidenced by your projects, your presentations, and your assessments, which demonstrated your growth as effective communicators, selfless collaborators, and critical thinkers. Those of you who have participated in clubs and activities where you collected items for people in need, both locally and globally, or helped to take care of the environment, or bring awareness to important issues, or volunteered to help as student ambassadors, demonstrated your growth in the area of citizenship. Those of you who have acted responsibly, have been respectful, or have shown care for others, those of you who have been trustworthy, respectful, fair, or have exhibited conscientious citizenship have demonstrated that you have good moral character. By now, if you're counting, you may have noticed that there is one area which I have not discussed. In fact, I intentionally left this area for last, and this area is resilience. Aishwarya briefly touched upon resilience in her speech. In order to talk about resilience, I have to talk a little bit about change, since the two often go hand in hand. Graduates demonstrate resilience when they are flexible, persistent, or can recover from failure or change. Learning how to develop resilience, however, is difficult because these lessons can only be learned once you have experienced failure or challenge or change. However, these are the moments when we are stretched and challenged in new ways that can lead us to personal growth. Each one of you in front of me has walked a very unique path to reach this day. Some of you have experienced significant trauma like personal loss, illness, or other hardships. These experiences undoubtedly have helped you all to build resilience. However, no one could have imagined how all of our lives would change in an instant, and that a global pandemic would provide the opportunity for all of us to have a shared experience to develop resilience. Yet, in spite of all the ups and downs and twists and turns that occurred over the last year and a half, you have all navigated these difficult changes and challenges together and accomplished something that would have been very challenging even without a global pandemic in the mix. As you leave AITE and embark on your next journey, please remember what you have already accomplished in your young lives and continue to immerse yourself in experiences and opportunities that help stretch you so you continue to grow in all of these areas. Finally, when disappointment, change, or hardships inevitably occur, remember that you are resilient and you have the ability to get through anything, even things like this pandemic, which were once unimaginable. It has been my privilege to be your principal, and I wish you all the success and happiness in your future endeavors. Congratulations. Counselors, Ms. Colmenares and Ms. Maturi. Dr. Lucero and assembled guests, I am pleased to report to you that these attractive students who are sitting before me and have met all of the necessary requirements of the state of Connecticut and the Stamford Board of Education and are in fact graduates of the Academy of Information Technology and Engineering. Now we are going to meet each of our graduates who will be presented with their diplomas by our wonderful school counseling department, and who will be introduced by AITE's Assistant Principal, Christina Colmenares. Seniors, we're going to do this row by row. I know Friday was a little bit of a washout, so we didn't get a full practice, but the first row, please rise. Okay, please come on up. We need the mic for Ms. Colmenares, please. Nope.
Dylan Adams. Masoor Alam. Enzo Aleman. Eliza Oslander. Dante Ayers. Caesar Nick Barros. Ruben Bartholomew. Julia Beausoleil. Laura Becerra Calvaci. Nidhi Bendre. Jaden Barouette. Jash Bendari. Gabriella Beer. Justin Belenker. Matthew Bonanno. Christian Brito Velasquez. Daniel Brown. Sydney Butler. Gabriella Kassir.
Will the second row rise, please? Second row, rise.
Joaquin Camaran. Jacqueline Carius. Michael Chappelle. Ashley Chavez Alfaro. Brianna Cherry. Matthew Chen. Evan Christensen. Abigail Sinawa. Kayla Clark. Thomas Clark. Joseph Colangelo. Rosa Colon. Kayla Craner. Dylan Camaro. Nicholas Degata. Arnab Das. Tobias Davis. Janelle Desai. Deborah Desir. Jada Fanny Regina Dupree. Zion Edwards Ellington. Zoe Edwards Ellington. Kevin Fleischer. Samuel Forfang. Joseph Anthony Foy III. John Frankowski. Jeffrey Garcia. Andreas Giannakides. Brian Gilbert. Alana Goldhaber. Daniel Gomez. Daryl Jerome Green, Jr. Jay Hernandez. Jonathan Yakavachi. Isaiah Ingram. Eddie Jacinto Castro.
Can I just remind the seniors that when you exit the stage, the picture is back here, so it's a little bit in the shade. Don't forget to stop for your picture, please. Thank you.
Claren John. Ananya Janakudi. Fanta Kanote. Layla Lake. That one died. Aiden. Who's that little one? Who is that? I don't know. That was adorable.
That is an early applicant.
Aiden Lamouth. Lamoth. Aiden Lamoth. Chloe Lefferman. Gustavo Latona. Anna Lichtenberg. Michael Lewick. Good job, Michael. Amari Maitland. Nicole Martillo. Aiden Matos. Carrington Mattis. Is your brother here? Kate Sohee McCann. Morgana McLeod. Sarah McNerney. David Mahia. Ainoa Mershan. Jason Mercurio. Takia Marenti. Nahid Mohammed. Lisbeth Morales. Mikhail Moss. Paul Mario. Shahryar Nadim. That helped me this weekend when I was practicing. Aiden Nagler. Christopher Nieves. Nathan Noel. Jimmy Oliva Catalan. Jennifer Oriana. Melissa Palencia. Jendel Pato. Amber Peart. Michael Peterson. Catherine Prescott. Andre Quijada. Richa Rao. Victoria Razinski. Justin Reyes. Melissa Reyes. Caroline Robb. Sarah Rosado. Here you go, sir. Justin Royster. Olivia Rozek. Christina Sable. Irvin Sagastumi. Shadman Salim. Congratulations, Tyler Salta. Samantha Samuel. Sophia San Agustin. Jeb Schweber. Johan Servin Oliva. Natalia Sherbakova. Jalen Sinclair. Devash Singh. Riley Singleton. Ashwarya Sivra Subramanian. Nathaniel James Smith. Aaliyah Smith. Zachary Snyder. Carolina Sobieszek. Tamid Soliman. Lori Soloninka. Aiden Stout. Frank Somerville. Nicholas Tanks. Matthew Tola. Jennifer Traori. Caitlin Ulbrich. Lance Oimatiao. Nicholas Valenzano. Yanni Varnavelius. Christine Vasquez. Jorge Velez. Aaron Weston. Jarek Yakat. Here we go, sir. Congratulations. Brian Zapata. You got this. Congratulations. Samuel Zweig.
We'll wait till the last graduates get back to their seats, but I think applause is in order, so. At this time, will all of the class of 2022 please rise? Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present to you the graduates of AITE's class. Congratulations. Hey, all right. Thank you everyone for coming.